from Big Brother. Not my motherfucking Big Brother, but if you read 1984, you know what I mean. The system, the propaganda from the system is so fucking real. And if you are just oblivious, if you one of these niggas with heightened suggestibility, meaning you been swayed by the cup of tea from Get Out, you one of them niggas lost in the sauce, then you may not be recognizing the fact that the propaganda to get you niggas vaccinated and the subtle inflictions on your liberty and free will in this society if you don't get vaccinated. They're coming with regulations and restrictions in regards to almost everything. It's safer now if you get vaccinated to fill up these stadiums, right? In order for you to take a flight, if you got a vaccination, you're safe. But if you're not, what is the implication that if you don't have a vaccination, you're not safe? We know the studies haven't proven this experimental phase to be safe either. But they're making subtle implications to get the whole world vaccinated. This is a post from Instagram I just stumbled across. I want y'all to listen to this shit. Seek the truth. Shout out to that page, but it's just that apparent. A seeker of the truth will find and dig and claw their way to information in which most of you drones and bots will say is a conspiracy theory. But whatever. Watch this shit. Okay, hold on. Sound on.
100%. And we have a very narrow window to
bring it back.
tie reopening policy to vaccination status. Because otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that's why I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have. Because otherwise, people are going to go out and enjoy these freedoms anyway. I mean, you were mentioning...
Do y'all hear her? All these freedoms you're going to have if you get vaccinated. In other words, if you don't get vaccinated, all these freedoms are going to be stripped from you. So we have to compel people to get the vaccination, and we want to attach the vaccine to opening things back up. Most of you niggas move fear-based. Most of you niggas fear, okay, I won't be able to travel. If you have that fear that you won't be able to travel, you won't be content and secure without it. Yeah, I want to travel, but I'm principled in certain things. I move by the way of nature. I don't need a government to put their medicine into me. So I know my principles, I know where I'm headed, so I don't move by the fear or the threat of not being able to travel or not being able to go in certain places in this matrix. I create my own damn matrix in this bitch. But a lot of you niggas will get the vaccination just because they say, hey, you ain't gonna be able to travel no more. Forced deal, essentially, in your head. Some of y'all think y'all don't have a choice. Your job recommends it, so you had to do it, right? You capable of getting a new job. You capable of starting your own fucking shit. Aside from being an employee. Aside from jobs, restaurants won't be back open to their employees. Big businesses is suggesting everybody get vaccinated in an experimental phase. And just, this is a sideshow, but I want a slideshow. I want to watch that video one more time, though. Listen to her again.
All these states are reopening. They're reopening at 100%. And we have a very narrow window to tie reopening policy to vaccination status. Because otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that's why I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have. Because otherwise, people are going to go out and enjoy these freedoms anyway. I mean, you were
she's talking as if enjoying these freedoms is not something we should be doing right now. Given the 99% ratio of COVID killing, given the level of dangerous through the data in which has been shown so far, meaning shutting shit down caused more harm to our society than the actual COVID, economically, psychologically. Did we even resolve the deaths if motherfuckers get vaccinated and still have to wear masks? The mask efficacy is questionable. All this shit in their matrix is questionable because their ploy is hidden. They're throwing you smoke screens and distortion because their true ploy is hidden. But when that eye right here is hoping, it's in plain sight. It's easy as can be. They trying to sell you drugs, and they won't open shit back up until they sold they dope. At least a good percentage of it. The percentage ain't high, so they gonna keep perpetuating this myth that the boogeyman COVID is fucking y'all up. A lot of y'all have been asymptomatic and scared to go out because a test told you got COVID, right? Asymptomatic. So in the history of wisdom, because asymptomatic shows you a history of human wisdom. Usually when you're asymptomatic through trials of human history, thousands, millions of years, you're usually implied as healthy, well. But now you feeling good, feeling great, and you get this felonious test, which is not completely 100% accurate. The president who just got off in Africa told you that when he tested the fruits and the animals for COVID. So this test that's inaccurate while you're asymptomatic got you on lockdown? It's propaganda, distortion. It's faulty reasoning over wisdom. Asymptomatic is wisdom. That test is faulty reasoning. And let's read this slide. COVID will replace the flu in the same way the flu has different strains and multiple vaccinations. That's already been going on. It's apparent. When flu season came, it was COVID season now. Those with this eye told you that was going to happen months ago. The difference will be in how they use the virus to create a system of control to further their agendas of keeping people sick, fearful, and obedient. Most of you guys just comply, wear a mask, just get the vaccination. You guys are so obedient that you don't even know it. Fearful. Oh, I just want to be safe. I'm going to get the vaccination even though it hasn't promised safety. Even though people have died after taking it and gotten COVID and gotten sick after taking it, the fear in you niggas will say, oh, I just want to be safe. That's not logical. And keeping people sick. Ironically, the same motherfuckers enticed by these vaccinations don't practice a holistic, homeopathic, natural-based lifestyle to prevent sickness. Niggas is eating McDonald's and Coca-Colas and want to talk about getting vaccinated. You not even taking the measures yourself to improve your well-being. You're reliant, dependent on a system and their mechanisms to heal you. So keeping people sick, fearful, and obedient, all what I see in this reality. Let's move the slide. Johnson & Johnson has to admit, science, how we deduce the science is our human observation, but the science is what it is. So when Johnson & Johnson has to admit something, that's because the science is already there to where they're compelled to admit. Johnson & Johnson, half of the one half of the company in which you niggas is getting vaccinated with, it's either Moderna or Johnson & Johnson, admits batch of COVID-19 vaccine failed quality standards. So Johnson & Johnson had to admit that they had batches that failed quality standards, while they all admit that even when you take both dosage, you can still catch COVID. So vaccine, immunity, they talking double speak when they tell you half immunity when you get one shot. There's no such thing as half immunity. Half immunity. Immunity means full exemption. You can't be half of fully exempt. They speak in double speak because they talking to you like you stupid because you are stupid as a collective. If you watching this and you feel like you being attacked, it's probably because you know in your heart of hearts what you doing is out of fear. And you know in your heart of hearts what you doing might be out of some other words. Obedience. Mutations could render current COVID vaccines ineffective within a year, scientists warn. We know viruses, all this shit mutates, so the vaccines will become obsolete. We've been knowing that about vaccines for a while, that they become obsolete. But Does anybody question what the fuck? Why are we so latched on to vaccines? And why ain't fruits and berries and nuts and grains being indoctrinated into our head? They gonna give y'all, this is how sick they are. They gonna give y'all vaccine propaganda, and then you'll see a commercial that's selling you poison. You don't see spring water commercials, do you? Have you ever seen a sea moss commercial in your life? Alkaline water commercials, do you see that? Walnuts and almond commercials? Spinach commercials, we ain't seen spinach since Popeye. And they got that nigga out of here. And then last, IBM has been selected by the federal government to develop the CVD passport. Now I don't know what that is, haven't studied it. I'm assuming it's a form of passport that's going to be able to identify and track you through and probably regulate restrictions in some form. But identify and tracking you already is regulating your liberty, your bodily rights. So the CVD passport, IBM Technologies, was used also by Hitler to create the punch cards to identify and track the population to facilitate the genocide. Same analogy. It's analogous. They going through the same channels, different face, new Hitler. And to just close this video, I need y'all to watch social compliance, conformity, robotics at its finest, humans who don't think. A lot of y'all, it's motherfuckers at restaurants. We gotta wear a mask in. Think about how illogical. We're not using logic. We're using human, fallible reasoning. Oh, it may make sense to put my mask on while I go to my seat in my restaurant, then take my mask off and start eating. But under the pretenses of logic, if we put our mask on for 15 seconds as a false sense of security, then take our shit off in the restaurant and sit at our tables, no mask, everybody, we all still are gonna have a capability of catching COVID maskless, however they say the maskless rates are. So why even put it on in the first place? They got us practicing redundant shit. 24-hour fitness. You need to wear a mask in 24-hour fitness, and then you go to the basketball courts and take the mask off. But they want you to keep it under here. Illogical. Stop sacrificing logic, grounded, sound reasoning for fear-based mongering. Let me watch this video one last time. Watch how most people in this society are, just like the girl on the right. Compliant, probably out of fear, and selling you the system's drug.
All these states are reopening. They're reopening at 100%. And we have a very narrow window to tie reopening policy to vaccination status. Because otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that's why I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have. Because otherwise, people are going to go out and enjoy these freedoms anyway. I mean, you were mentioning...
Read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. It'll show you about this system and how people like her work for the devil. So where we can't really ever see the devil, it's elusive, it's out of sight, out of mind, but it's controlling behind the scenes. And now we're at a point to where citizens working for the devil are doing the devil's work. Just get a vaccination. Just wear a mask. Just comply. Social distance. You could be walking in Walmart by yourself, isolated, and a citizen will tell you, put your mask on. The devil's worker. And also read 1984, man, by George Orwell. It'll show you the control system and how a society, without most of the society knowing it, has control over your agency, your autonomy. And slowly but surely, it's all getting stripped, and only the robots will be happy about it. But them small skeptics, the small percentage of people who like and appreciate their autonomy, they gonna stand for something. They gonna stand on something. They might die for that something. It's your boy, Dang, man. Peace. Let me know your thoughts and comments. The fear-based mongering and the propaganda on vaccinations right now is being pumped so crazily. Listening to the radio, if you do any of these forms of indoctrination, you watching TV, the radio. I go into the casinos, they got it at somebody at the monitor sounding that shit out, talking about wear a mask, distance, and vaccination ads. It's everywhere. So I know why a lot of you niggas is scared. I know why a lot of you niggas is falling in line. But think twice, man. It's your boy Dame.